What's going on, brothers?
How you doing?
Appreciate y'all inviting me out today.
No doubt, man. I couldn't once I got it cleared by you that you was gonna be able to make it, because I'm literally saying I watch your movements and you busy
That's
all
funny.
the time.
Yeah.
So, man, just to have an opportunity to when you said I was like, oh yeah, man, let's get this thing moving.
Yeah.
Like, this gonna be an exciting show. And
Definitely.
and you're never short on wins, so I'm not gonna take much of your time.
No, absolutely. Because Chris, the first thing I want to ask you, could you please illustrate for our audience the Invictus Development Group, what it is that you guys do, and what inspired you to develop that corporation?
Yeah, so Invictus Development Group is residential development right now. We're focused on investing in the neighborhoods that historically usually get gentrified. They get ignored until they get gentrified. And then no one else has an opportunity from our community to really get in and participate in the gentrification process. So what we're focused on is coming in and revitalizing and attracting the working professionals that maybe grew up in a neighborhood or look like the people from the neighborhood that now live in the suburbs, creating a product in the city that invites them back to live back in the city.
Let's talk about a little bit, Chris, about what's going on in the city of Houston from a gentrification and development standpoint that most residents may not necessarily be in tune to. What's going on right beneath everybody's nose without them knowing it?
I mean, right now in Fifth Ward, there's the same people that built City Center have already acquired the land. They've already got the plans approved. They've already started the infrastructure work to build a mixed-use development that's going to be twice the size of City Center.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Right there in Fifth Ward, just south of I-10.
Wow.
Right on Buffalo Bayou. So imagine the waterway and the woodlands that's on the water combined with City Center right there in Fifth Ward.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know, that's an amazing idea, because when I think about it, Chris, I joined an organization called Leadership Houston about 2 years ago. And I remember we took a bus route through Fifth Ward. And I remember one of the things that the lady kept saying that the challenge was with the growth was that I think because there was so many churches that churches couldn't be located near places that was selling alcohol. And it's great to see. I guess they got past whatever that was.
Yeah, well, the area they're in, there really aren't any churches down there. So they're south of I-10.
Okay,
so,
okay, on the other side.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah.
So the heart of Fifth Ward is north of I-10.
Yeah.
But it's equivalent to what happened to Spring Branch when City Center was built over there. You know, Spring Branch was a pretty poor neighborhood.
Right.
Yeah.
And now the house values are almost as high as Memorial.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And now let's talk about from a dollar and cents perspective, the residents in that area. What type of appreciation can they expect being near a development of that size?
I'm not exaggerating when I say 300%. Like literally 300%. And I mean, even already when I bought this property in 2013, and people would list lots for $20,000 and couldn't sell them.
Yeah.
Now you can't buy a lot for less than $50,000.
Come on.
You can't, and the project hasn't even started. You know, it's going to be 2023 before it's actually online.
Wow.
So by that time, the prices will be in the hundreds or 200 just for the land.
For the land.
Yeah, just for the lot. And so the housing values are going to go up tremendously too.
Yeah.
So I always tell people, you know, get in early, get in before it all looks nice, because if it all looks nice, it's too late. You missed the wave.
No, one of the things that I want to make sure I ask you publicly, because for a lot of people who might follow you online or hear you speak, they might not necessarily know your motivation, because, you know, there are people who could be in your position and keep all this knowledge to themselves, try to make sure their war chest is as full as possible. When you first got involved in real estate development, what was your vision and what was the problem that you saw that made you feel as if, okay, when I get these skills, I'm sharing it with everyone? Right.
Well, for me, number one, I did the whole corporate thing. You know, I went to college, I had the corporate life, and then I hated it. Like, I felt like I was sold a dream. You know, you go to school, get this job, and do this for 30, 40 years, and you're going to be rich. You know, it don't work like that. It didn't
never.
work like that. Right. And so for me, when I was trying to figure out what to do, it's like there was nobody to talk to. It's like the people that had it, and they wanted to brag about what they had, but they didn't want to show you how to do it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, man, once I get on,
you know what it is. They always tell you, game not free. They always used to say that.
Right. And for me, it's like, man, well, I'm like, you know, it's lonely once you're out there trying to do it on your own. I was like, man, I want to teach as much people how to do it as quick as possible.
Yeah.
And so I got into real estate in like 2008. So I flipped my first house here in Houston in 2009. And I did that for like 4 or 5 years. But it was still kind of one of those things where people would ask me about it, and I was like, well, you got to have this much money, you got to do this, you got to have the time, you got to have the contractors. So I was like, well, what can I do that's still related to this that can have a greater impact on the community? And, man, the gentrification narrative just kept coming up over and over and over.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I know other investors. I know other investors of color that look like me that are flipping houses. Why isn't anybody trying to tackle this?
Yeah,
exactly.
Even the builders. I mean, most of the builders, they're building the neighborhoods, but they just kind of do it autonomously on their own.
It's crazy, Chris, because even when I think about it, I remember in 06, in the real estate process, everyone was talking about Third Ward and how the way it looks now, they were describing that was about to take place. And no one could really wrap their mind around it. They couldn't wrap their mind around the price point that was going to change and any of that. And now to hear you say that, they're about to have a big boom like that when it comes to the Fifth Ward area and just you getting in at that time. Right. I just remember and I'm like, man, that's like no one could see it. And now it's like, it's crazy.
Yeah. And it's funny you say that because when I got this property in 2013, it was an old grocery store and some old houses that was like drug infested prostitutes. But it was right on the feet of Highway 59. I could see downtown. I was like, eventually it's gonna be worth something. I just gotta hold it long enough for it to be worth something. And I had no idea I was gonna be doing development at that time, but I was just thinking about it from an investor perspective. Man. And so like 2 years after that, that's when Midway announced that they had bought that property. So I was like, it was a good bet.
No
so so I was waiting for the plans to come out, and they finally came out in like 2016, 17, what they were gonna do.
Wow.
So, and that's the type of stuff that, it's actually out there for people to know. Most of us don't know where to look.
That's one of the things, and it's funny. I think social media gets a bad rap a lot of times, especially in popular culture, because of course everybody wants to bring up all the problems. But I think one of the benefits of social media is that it's giving professionals like yourself a platform to share education. Now, the next level of that is that now you forced all of those guys that never wanted to tell us anything. That to stay competitive in the market, now they must share education. So all those people that wanted to keep the doors closed no longer have that option.
Right.
Could you speak to our audience a little bit about how you've used social media to help you get your message out there? And please share with everyone all your handles so they can follow you on social media, because I don't think we've done that yet.
Okay, So my main handle is really Instagram, and it's _INVSTR. So like it's on the screen now. So
perfect.
_investor. There we go. And my website ChrisSenegal.com has links to all of my other social media as well. But the power of social media is it really is a media outlet that you can create for yourself, and you can put whatever content on it that you want.
That's right.
And so I like the fact that what it's done for me is it's allowed me not only to build an audience of like minds, whereas it would have been impossible for us to find each other before. But it's also allowed me to connect with other people that are actually doing the same type of things in other cities. And we've been able to share our resources and connect with the other, like the big influencer pages, like the Black Wall Street, the Black Wealth Renaissance, the Buy Black Economics, and they have hundreds of thousands of followers, and that gives us a platform to even educate further, and find the people that want to invest in these type projects. And I really think the best thing it does is it allows me to help other people get ahead,
no doubt,
and get ahead of the curve.
And I totally agree with you, Chris, because even just listening to you say it, and as I watch social media and watch people communicate, and watch as you communicate back to people and stuff like that. Like I literally remember it had to be about a year ago. I was sitting and telling people, like, look, if you're gonna meet other people that's doing the same thing, you got to go to conferences. Like that was the thing. Like that was the only way you was gonna make connections before social media became what it is now. You literally had to go to Atlanta, go to DC, and go to these conferences, exchange business cards, pick up what they learned, and then bring it back. Because that's how we built the real estate brokerage firm and scaled it. I went and got it from somebody else. They taught me some of the secrets that they had going on. I was like, oh, let me do that in Texas. That's not going on. And so now you can actually see it through the like Rick said, because you're sharing, other people feel like they need to share in order to keep up, or at least give information so that we can grow as a culture. So man, I agree. That's crazy.
And the ability to actually capture a moment live and just share with people immediately is powerful too.
It's nuts, and I don't want anyone who sees this episode to be confused. The reason why Larry and I asked Chris to sit in is because Chris's organization allows those who have never invested in real estate to passively invest funds with his organization. So you don't have to be an expert. You don't have to be a licensed real estate agent. And Chris, I wanted to ask you, could you please explain to the audience why real estate investment is something that they shouldn't necessarily be afraid to. It's something that they should absolutely jump into, because right now in Houston, it's like the time is now.
Yeah, it definitely is. So number one, real estate is the number one wealth creator in the country. I mean, if you think about the history of the world, kings made their mone off of owning the land.
That's right.
And collecting taxes. Yeah. So that's the oldest wealth building strategy in the world, literally.
Yeah.
And, you know, like you said, here in Houston is now the third largest city. The census is going to announce that. We're now bigger than Chicago.
Yeah.
We were at least hit by the recession of all the large cities in 2008, 2009. So we have the most stable housing market here. So when you look at things to invest in, it's a safe bet as long as you're investing with people that know what they're doing. And, you know, it's not something that's too risky or speculative, that it's a good chance that you will make a better return than you would just leaving money in the bank account, for sure.
Yeah, no doubt.
And probably a lot better than even the stock market.
Yeah, I agree.
Over the course of time. So, yeah.
And I know I wanted to give you an opportunity to talk about how you educate entrepreneurs as well. One of the great things about following you on social media is not just the information that you give, is that you actually do mentor and help out those who show a certain amount of initiative that you're like, okay, let me pour more into them.
Right.
Let's talk about some of your mentees.
Okay.
How do you come across? How do you meet them? And how do they go across making themselves important enough for your eyes?
Man, I meet them everywhere. A couple of the first two, one was from Port Arthur. And one of them was actually my college classmate.
That's real.
Yeah, he went to school. We both went to school for civil engineering. And when he came, he went to the military for a while. Well, I'm sorry, he didn't work. He was a military contractor, and came back and was like, man, I really want to get into film. I want to get out of engineering. And so, you know, there's certain principles that all businesses have in common. You know, you're marketing a product. You have to establish a brand. You have to establish how to get your product in front of the target demographic. And you got investment that's required, and you got a rate of returns you need to make to sustain.
That's right.
So what I try to do is help them understand all those basics and give them the books to read, like Think and Grow Rich, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, the books that really change your mindset to get you out of the work environment.
Man, I wish I had read that before I went to college, man.
Man, and me too.
What? Especially them two right there.
Those
like
two.
If I had read those before I went to college, Chris, I know you can relate to it.
Right.
Rick, you can relate to it, man. Like the mindset would have been so much
different
when we attacked the educational aspect of it.
And it was funny, Larry.
I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I had to plug that, man. Like if I had seen that.
The mindset is the most important part of all of it. Yeah. It doesn't matter how ambitious you are, if you still got that trade time for dollars work mindset. It's self-defeating, really.
I know, man. Everything as far as you've been really candid, I appreciate that. I thank you so much. And this first segment has been crazy. But we're going to take a short break. Will you please hang in with us for a second segment?
Definitely.
We're going to return with Chris, but I want to take a short break to hear from our sponsors. Stay tuned. We'll be right back to the Prime Real Estate Network.